thought it was just going to be that's basically what it was the whole first time I watched. It's like Hey guys, we are Nerd Jams. I'm Shannon.
I'm Jadon.
And I'm going to start off by apologizing if you don't like fangirling, because I'm about to go off. This week, I've been ecstatic all week long. And even The Flash. Yeah. I didn't like the first part of The Flash.
I thought The Flash was the best episode, by far.
I am psychic. We have to talk about why I'm psychic real quick. One, because I was like, this morning on my drive home, I was like, I think Supergirl was amazing, but I think Legends was the best this week, and I was like, Jadon's gonna think it's The Flash, and I think that's the weakest. But also, I am psychic. For some reason, the minute that Legends started, I was like, who is the actress that plays Gideon? I should look her up. So I IMDb'd it, and then later in the episode, I was like, that's her! That's Gideon!
Yeah.
So it was just one of my psychic moments where
I couldn't. She looks really a lot like the villain from last season in Supernatural, who played the Sister of God. But
she somewhat reminds me of the LMD on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now.
Oh no,
a little bit.
She did it for me. I really like the actress a lot.
Oh yeah. But yes, I just was telling Jadon that I didn't text him all week. But this was the hardest of me not to just see, did you see this scene? Did you see, what about this scene? And oh my gosh, this, and this. This was a great week, and I've been in a state of euphoria since Monday night, so maybe that's why I liked Flash so much.
I think it was just because it was a good episode. But this morning I woke up and I was like, okay, this is what I have to do today. I'd have to watch the rest Legends today. But I was so happy. I was like, I couldn't wait to do this review. And I've simmered down. I've come down from that.
I haven't.
A little bit. So
I have not. So we're gonna start with Flash, then go into Legends and Supergirl. No Arrow this week. Let's jump right into Flash. You think it was the best?
Yes.
Right.
And mostly just because everything was done, just about perfectly. There was no flat parts. There weren't any parts that I could have just done without. It was just everything was good. Every character brought it. Every character had a good performance, and the story was just amazing. So
yeah. The beginning kind of took me out a little bit, but it's probably because I was very confused.
Was it the speed test?
Yeah. What were they doing?
That was one of my complaints. Is I do not understand why they're doing speed tests in the city. I mentioned that in another video, but it does not make sense when you're going above Mach 3. And you can have sonic booms if sure,
Well, I was just confused altogether with what they were doing, and then, but then it made. I was like, why did he just run into Barry? And then now it literally just clicked into my head. Oh, because Barry was supposed to be Savitar.
Yeah.
So okay, but yeah, so it took me a few minutes. Draco and Caitlin were adorable.
Yeah, they're great. He's just like. And I loved how he just went in and kissed her.
Yes, that was. What did I write? I was like, Draco's got moves.
Yeah.
Because then he even I just had to do that in case I lost my nerve.
Yeah, it was great.
It was really cute. But it took me a few minutes to get into this episode. I watched it at work, and probably by about 15-20 minutes in, I had to keep pausing it because I have to watch cameras. And I'm also on camera. So I had to keep pausing it to make it look like I was doing my job for a few minutes at a time. And normally, I just let Flash play when I do stuff like that. Wow. But I was like, I can't miss anything. I had to rewind it a couple times when I would space out. I really liked it. Candace Patton. Phenomenal.
Great job.
Phenomenal. Wally.
Yes.
Oh, I felt so bad.
Yes.
Kind of a little bit as you shouldn't have waited a week to tell them. I hate when characters do that.
Yeah, but his reasoning made sense to me.
Yeah, a little bit.
More than it usually does for that cliche.
But what got me is when his mom showed up.
Yes.
Even though I didn't know his mom before these episodes because I didn't watch, but I mean my notes are just poor kid.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him. When they show him hugging Air, it got me.
Yeah.
It got me.
I was actually surprised how much I loved that scene because I did not like her when she showed up because she's only around for a little bit and she was dying in those episodes. But yeah, I didn't like her acting and I didn't like the character, but she was totally fine this time around. And I think Kenyon Losdale, this was his best episode by far, the best I've ever seen his acting. There's that moment when he gets sucked into the Speed Force, which was a great homage to Crisis and Rebirth, where, basically Crisis is when Ray Allen died in the comic books for the first time. He disintegrated because he ran too fast.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Rebirth was this year, and it's just basically Wally coming back, jumping out the Speed Force and then getting sucked back, and that's basically what we saw, was him getting sucked in. And it was great. It was awesome. It looked amazing.
This was my, the special effects all shows this week. Fantastic.
Yeah.
This was my first experience with the Speed Force portal, so I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
When he looked like he was being shredded and ripped apart, and I wrote, "Is Wally dying?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh wait, am I sad he's dying? Because I didn't think I would be."
Yeah.
And then when Savitar crawls out of the Speed Force, I loved it.
It was great.
I was like, ooh.
he looked a lot better this episode than he usually does, and it was weird because it was mostly close-ups, but. Yeah, he looked a lot better.
I watched the AfterBuzz review, and I agree with them that this is the first time we've seen it as a practical costume rather than mostly CGI.
Yes, that's what sold it a lot better. I love the whole ending with him fighting Barry. But it was still kind of like, it would still be better if it was an actual actor, but this is still really awesome.
Yes.
But jeez, yeah. Wally was just amazing. This episode, and Joe's reaction to Wally getting sucked in, where he just asked Barry, "Is he in pain?
Yeah.
Is he dead?" Or just awesome delivery across the board.
Agreed. I'm glad that they didn't go way over the top with it too.
Yeah.
That we didn't even get an Iris scene about it, but we could feel it. And then when she sees Barry and we see that she doesn't have the ring on and leaves Barry, we're getting the West Allen feels, in my opinion, the West Allen feels and her sadness about Barry.
Yeah.
All at once, without words. It was,
Show not tell.
I was impressed with this episode, I really was. However, like some of my first or mini notes are HR is not funny.
Wait, before you get to that, Violet Bean also, who plays Jessie, her reaction was also very good.
Yep.
And I thought HR had some great scenes, and that was one of them. But yes, go.
But he's not funny. That's all. They're trying too hard to make him funny.
Yeah,
I see his lines coming ahead.
There's a lot of between all of the episodes. There's a lot of at the beginning of Legends. There's a lot of quips and stuff that just didn't work for me.
Yes, Nate.
Nate and Stein.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple quips that are just like, we don't need that in there. So.
Ray was amazing this week.
Yeah, he was really good.
Real quick, did you catch all of the pop culture references? One that you've probably noticed before, the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes, the Philosopher's Stone.
Because that's, in England, the original Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
So not only is that just a straight up reference to Harry Potter, but it's Draco Malfoy in this show as well.
I noticed them, but I just didn't write them down.
So Philosopher's Stone. Oh, there was a third one that I didn't write down. What an idiot. My favorite, Savitar is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan.
Oh, really?
When he calls Barry the big bad, originated, maybe not originated, but it definitely got cultivated into what it is now on Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the Whedonverse.
Okay.
My ship is sinking.
What ship?
Julian and Caitlin.
Oh, yeah. That was, I don't know, I'm sure they'll be fine and everything, but that was just another one of those twists, because there's so many twists in this episode, where it's like, oh, she actually has the Philosopher's Stone, and it's just all of it.
And I didn't, I didn't know what was going on there, but I really liked that, how she says, I'm the one who portrays the team.
Yeah.
But AfterBuzz brought it up as well. I think that that's actually what could have saved the team.
Yeah,
because he would have come out sooner if the whole stone was in there, but then Wally's the one that...
Yeah, there's another twist.
Unwittingly...
But they did it so well, just how he ends up screwing up. It was done very well.
How he plays right into Savitar's mind games by, the whole, you're horrible, you can't be fast enough. He's like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And it was done well.
I loved it. It was very creepy. I was like, he's pacing around him, circling him, he even grabs him by the shoulders.
Yes. Okay, one of my only negatives, I don't have hardly any negatives for all three shows this week, are they seem a little inconsistent with the whole he's in my head thing. So Savitar touches him and he's throwing him about, or is he throwing himself about?
He's throwing himself around.
All right. Savitar touches him. Hang on. Savitar touches him, and we see it. It's not just an imagination. Like, we see him touch him, move him. When he hugs his mom, he's hugging air. It took me out a little bit because it made me think about it too hard.
Yeah, but they did have that line where they said that, I guess he was... yeah, I'd have to listen to it again, because they say he's appearing in flashes out of the Speed Force, but can't remember if they're saying he's actually coming out of the Speed Force, or
that's why I was confused. So I just have imagining ? Or there ?
All right, I think that's in the same episode where they talk about Julian and like how he became, like you were asking before, how he became Dr. Alchemy.
Okay.
So I'd have to watch these 2 episodes again. Some of my negatives were really nitpicky. Just one, Savitar, he's the god of speed, and when he first arrived, it was kind of like he was teleporting rather than running, and he was that much faster than everyone else. But in this episode, near the end, where he's fighting Barry, it's just he's a lot slower.
I have a theory on that.
Okay.
He just came out of the Speed Force, and I think he was weak. Because the way they talk about the Speed Force is that, I mean, look at him. Wally looks like he's being ripped apart as he goes in.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've been in the Speed Force, but I feel like if that's really where he trapped him, not only was he trapped there, but he's been running through the Speed Force trying to find this Philosopher's Stone this entire time. That's the only... That right there, I immediately was like, well, he's definitely got to be weak coming out of there. Because the way he had to crawl out, they made it look like such a labor-intensive move. Yeah. So I think that's what that was. But I agree. It was glaringly obvious that they were more evenly matched. Also, I guess Barry's been training more. Maybe that's a nod to that.
He is some training. That was one thing that I really liked, was that he's consistently training and trying to be better, but Barry just uses this little stupid device where it gathers his speed, and it's really dumb. But yeah, that's a good headcanon. It's usually the other way around, where they come out of the Speed Force stronger, but
but they're probably not trapped in the Speed Force. Yeah. They're using.
Well, they always get trapped. It's always trapped. Yeah. But,
seems like a running theme.
That is a good.
So possibly.
Barry was just a dick.
Oh my gosh,
He's very villainy this episode.
Wait, okay, are you talking about to Wally when we find out that Savitar's been there, or overall? So a lot of people on the interwebs were offended that Barry was being a dick to Wally. And I'm like, no, Wally has had Savitar in his mind for who knows how long, hasn't said anything, and Barry's right. He could be spying, and they don't know. Julian even says it. I don't know if he's still controlling me.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Okay.
Obviously, because that was my complaint with the Supergirl episode. But it was just his performance throughout the last Supergirl episode where no one...
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just like his performance throughout it was just very super villainy. Like the way that they'd show him like just sitting, he'd just be like this, and like he'd be very cold whenever people were having like really emotional...
I'll say this, I think Grant Gustin did a great job this whole episode.
He did do a great job. It was just it was a little bit too out of character.
Right? So someone, I don't remember who it was, thinks that, oh gosh, what was the theory? I don't remember what the theory is, but someone thinks that Barry's going evil. That he's getting a split personality or something. I don't know.
Seems a bit far out.
Right. However, one of the things, again, I've talked about before is watching I'm not an actor. I'm horrible. Don't ever ask me to do it. But yes, I do watch actors and study how they do things, and I like seeing what they do without words. Yeah. And when Wally comes back immediately and accuses Barry of asking Iris for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that was one of the times where it's like, he's very super villain.
He is, because he's all laid back and cold. But the reaction, his facial expressions, as soon as Wally says it, he goes from kind of like aloof, like, oh, what are you talking about, to immediately like, oh, F.
Yeah.
But he did it, it wasn't like a, oh, F, I'm caught. It was more like a, now I have to explain it, and I'm not going to be able to explain it properly. Because I feel like he really, yes, he did it for the wrong reasons, but they were going to get married anyway, or engaged anyway.
Who knows now? That was really messed up. That's another one of my favorite moments.
Iris took that well.
Yes. She did take it very, very well. But also his reaction to watching Iris die, Wally's, because he hadn't seen that yet. That was amazing. But then just also that whole scene and everything is just...
Avatar stabs Barry.
Oh yeah, that was a great scene too. Where they're pulling it out.
I wrote so intense. I just wrote intense. Great acting, And I actually really enjoyed this week, and it might be my
Flash.
state of euphoria.
This is why I love The Flash, is when they have these episodes. I know where I was going with that. Just because it goes into the whole conversation where she has, now our relationship will always be tainted.
Yes. Oh, so true.
So good.
And he didn't ask Joe.
Yes.
As soon as they told Joe, I was like, oh, he didn't ask.
So that was one of my notes. Because I was like, yeah, why is he being such a dick and not asking? But then it comes around because they close that loop and saying, oh, because Joe would have recognized that this is a little bit out of character.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But I thought it was really, really well done. And towards the end of the episode, I didn't hate HR.
No.
The drumstick still bugged me.
Yeah.
That when he's like holding them, like, come on, dude, explain them at least. But anyways, all right. Anything else? Because I want to talk about something really quick.
All right.
Who do you think Savitar is?
That was one of my notes. I'm thinking it might be Eddie Khan.
So I don't know who that is, and yada. So can I go ahead and tell us why real quick, and then I want to go over mine.
Just mostly because Rick Cosnett is coming back, the actor.
That's what everyone said.
And then just the way that he seemed to have a connection with everyone, and it seemed more personal. So maybe it's just someone that they get to know later on, but I mean, it could very well just be Julian or something. But yeah, it's just the way that he knew them, and it seemed very personal. That it was kind of like, well,
it's definitely somebody they know.
Well, maybe it's because.
Well, he says you're there when I am made.
Yeah, and I can't remember. It hasn't been a while. It's been a while since I've seen the first season, but he was at, I think, the end part of the season, part of the team.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Couple of theories I saw online. It's Wally. No. If it's Wally, I'm never watching this show again. If you've watched any of our reviews, you know how I feel about time travel, and it pisses me off. So if they try to tell me that Savitar, who gave Wally back his powers, gave him his Flashpoint powers, came back from the future to do that, and then he wouldn't have... No. It better not be Wally.
Although the way you just said it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me. I hate when somebody from the future creates something in the past that then causes the thing in the future.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the way I grew up with Star Trek and everything. It's just...
Yeah, maybe. So if it's Wally, I'm probably done. Because that makes me mad.
Okay.
So when the monk scene, when he finds the Philosopher's Stone box and he's fighting the monk, the guy says you should have moved that wedding up. Right? So how does he know about the marriage? How does he know about the proposal?
Maybe it was Savitar told him to do that.
Okay, so now Savitar knows.
Yeah.
And if it's supposed to be something that didn't happen yet, which obviously he could have proposed, and then because the future could have caused the past to make the future, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's either Julian or HR. One, because he knew about the proposal, so Savitar from the future told his worshippers, they knew it happened. So that means that he was probably there when it was announced. And Savitar seems to have some issues, some jealousy towards Barry. And I think that the way that they treat HR sometimes, if he were to gain powers and he is already kind of a conniving level, and the way that Savitar talks to HR, talks it down to him and says, oh, you're still...
Yeah.
Now, Julian, because he could be controlling him all along and he's been there all along, so that's all I have there. So he could have been there to know it. Cisco.
No, I don't think that's what they did. They did that.
I don't think it'll be Cisco, but only because I think they're trying to point in that direction, because he says you could have been a god instead of just a tech guy. But that could also be something that HR or Julian would say to Cisco. Some people think it's Future Flash because Savitar says more than once, I'm the Future Flash. So is that a future, Flash or Future Flash?
Future, Flash.
I think so too. Yeah. And if it's Barry, I'm done as well.
Fine.
Okay, anything else?
I don't think so. Legends?
Oh my gosh!
So good.
This was the best episode of Legends I've seen in both seasons. Oh. Now, granted, I didn't watch probably the last 4 episodes of the first season. I'm going to go back and watch them.
You should watch those.
This was absolutely the best episode I've seen. Cinematically wise, when they are in Rip's mind, it is gorgeous.
Yeah. I thought this wasn't. I loved it. I didn't think it was quite as good as last week's because
the week before.
Yeah, the week before.
The Camelot episode.
The last episode. Yeah. Yeah, I told you, I love that episode.
You did love that episode.
I love the way that they did the makeup, the setting, the cinematography, everything. But I still like this one. Yeah. So like I was telling Shannon, I really like this episode, but I need to watch it again, I think, because I don't know if I was distracted or what, but some things just didn't connect emotionally for me like they usually do. But yeah, I just need to watch it again, I think.
I was all in for this episode. For both Supergirl and Legends, I basically watched like this. The whole time. It was so good. It was intense going into Rip's mind, and it's in the ship, one, because why give us another setting? It's, cheaper to just use the one we're using. But they did a good job of changing it, making it dark.
Yep.
I figured that they were going to have the team there. I didn't think that they were going to fight each other. So when they reveal
I did.
Sarah, that was phenomenal. Katie Lott's fighting. I actually went to YouTube and just watched a bunch of her training videos because she is amazing. But that was done so well. Usually when someone fights themselves, I hate it because you can see it. That
was one of my nitpicks. I
think there was one part where it was a little too jumpy and you could tell it was somebody else, but I thought it was phenomenal. It was great to see, obviously it's a stunt woman at one point, but it was great to see that they cut it together where they fell the same way. Yeah. And they punched and kicked the same way, and I loved it.
I thought the way that they matched them together, because when she's just staring at each other, that looked really good. Like one didn't look closer than the other, that weird.
They're making eye contact. They did a great job. And I don't mean to cut you off, but just real quick on that scene, so Sarah turns and she has a great reaction of what the
yeah,
and then immediately she gets into her kind of like a semi-defensive stance because she is a fighter, she's a martial artist, so she can she immediately you can see she's in a defensive stance, but then the camera goes wide and pans in, and it was so good. I've watched it. I've seen it on Tumblr a bunch of times. It's just great because, like you said, both Sarahs are in the shot, and it doesn't look fake. And the way that they did it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There were just a couple of things. Like, it looked really. I love the fights and everything. There was just a couple of moments where it was very telegraphed, where Sarah had her hand out with I think it was Evil Sarah had her hand out with the baton, and then she just holds it there, and then Sarah kicks it.
Yeah.
And it's just she was waiting for it. So there's a couple of those moments. But other than that, everything you said is right on.
Real quick, forgot to mention this in the Flash. One of my only negatives is, once again, they had a few moments that they waited too long. Why isn't Barry trying to get Wally out sooner? He just kind of stayed back and waited too long. Why isn't Jessie going to the team as soon as Wally leaves? Why does she wait so long? Anyways, I forgot to say that.
Although seeing Wally get sucked in was pretty terrifying.
Yes.
Just watching it on the monitor. So, yeah.
But Legend. So yeah, I loved all of this stuff. I loved Rip having powers because that makes sense. It's in his mind, and he doesn't have any powers. He is probably the weakest member of the team, other than Stein on his own.
Except for he's freaking awesome.
He is amazing.
Quick Draw McGraw. The way he shot the disc or whatever thing.
Yes.
Was awesome.
Our good old evil Rip.
Let's see. So I really liked the beginning. It looked amazing when the Wave Rider comes out of the time tunnel and then it crashes into the Earth.
It was probably the best really special effects they've done with the Wave Rider yet.
Yeah. I also like the people call it the interstellar view, where it shows from the ship's point of view or whatever. That looked awesome. That looked great.
How it's just in the background the whole time.
Yeah.
Until they sit in the seats. Yeah, that was really good too.
Let's see.
I love Mick.
Yeah.
And Gideon. I love their little smart-ass morons.
His Mick's face when he's just sitting there while she's explaining what the whole cognitive thing or whatever was just priceless. He just looks in there, yes. Yes.
That's exactly right. Yes. That's exactly right. And then the professor will be my assistant.
Yes.
Give me a beer.
Assistants.
Professor, make it a 6-pack. And he doesn't do anything though. He's assistant.
Yeah, he just
sits back and sips his beer.
Okay,
real quick. One of the things about these shows that we always find plot holes and stuff, and in case you haven't heard, I haven't said anything about Flash. There are some in Legends, and there's some in Supergirl this week. But what they did so well is the episodes were done so well that we don't care about them, or they're not so glaringly obvious. Yeah. Because hello, if you can get in his mind, why haven't you done it before? And everybody online that I've read have said that. I'm like, guys, quit nitpicking so hard. It's just part of the plot. Go with it, because this episode was awesome.
Yeah. That was a little
Mm-hmm. Well, especially since Gideon knows all about it. And Gideon apparently is in Rip's mind and remembers being in Rip's mind. So then why hasn't she brought it up before? Sure, whatever. Little too big of a plot hole, but still so well done that I was like, meh. Give me more Sarah fighting Sarah.
Speaking of Gideon, her relationship with Rip throughout the entire episode was just amazing. It was a little weird to see them kiss, but it also, I don't know, I don't want to say it felt right, but it made sense.
Kiss her, Rip! Yes! However, that's what I wrote in my notes. However, they made it weird when she says, it's okay, I liked it, or whatever. I was like, no, now it's weird.
See, actually, I kind of like that. Because I'm starting to wonder, are they going to make an AI,
they better
a physical
not.
version of Gideon?
I hope not.
It seems like they're kind of pointing in that direction.
I know, and that's what I don't want. It's weird.
On one hand, it's weird, but on the other hand, I really like it because they have the same thing with Dark Matter and on the old show Andromeda, where it's just nice to see an actual personification of the AI, the ship or whatever. So it could work either way.
Had they not made it sexual, I probably would have been on board with that. But if they're going to go there, that's a little weird. It's a little weird. Sarah's reaction to Gideon, I loved.
Yeah.
Okay, but how do they not recognize her voice?
Yeah, that was just really weird. And that was one of my nitpicks was the ADR with the voiceover for Gideon. Because there's moments where they cut away from the physical Gideon and you'd hear her talking and it did not sound right. It sounded like it was done in a studio somewhere.
There was a couple of that with Ray as well. I had to go back, did his lips even move?
Yeah. So I really like their relationship with Gideon and just his relationship with Gideon. I thought that was probably one of the stronger points in the entire episode. The moment where he comes walking back in, because after he talks about kissing Gideon or whatever, when he comes slow motion walking in, I got a little misty-eyed. I did. I will admit it.
I just had this shit-eating grin on my face. I didn't get a little choked up, but I was just
back.
And I was like, Jadon's not gonna hate this slow-mo.
I watched it like 5 times.
With the
billowing
thank you.
duster.
Yes. And I loved the reintroduction when the whole team is there and he meets Nate officially and Amaya officially.
So good. It's so good to have him back.
It's so good. And the Gideon says captain and both Sarah and Rip answer.
Yeah.
I think, so it was a cute moment because Sarah even kind of gives her little smirk and is like, concedes. So are they going to try to make that an issue or are we just going to get Captain Rip Hunter back? I hope it's the latter. I hope we just get Captain Rip Hunter back. Sarah's amazing, but we don't need another, whole mutiny thing.
Yeah, I don't really need to see them. Yeah, we don't need to see them bickering back and forth of who's the captain because obviously this episode showed us he's captain. He's the captain. Yes. He is the be all end all. So.
Oh, and please don't win, Gideon. Please don't make me do that. I love how she's always been very human.
Yeah.
That she knows the code. She has to do it, but then she doesn't want to. But yet she's still, and that's why it's going to be weird to make an embodiment of an AI because she's still going to have that. Anyways.
I mean, one way that they do it, that they've done it with the show Dark Matter is that there's the AI who is learning and being more human, but then there's also still the ship where it stays the same.
Okay.
So that could work out.
We'll see because it's definitely what it feels like they're going.
Music. I really love the music in this episode. I think this is Blake Neely. I think he does all the shows. I think he does his best work on the show, and it worked really well with this episode. There's
a music episode part in Supergirl. I might have to control the volume when we get to talking about it because I'm so excited.
Okay.
So, yes. But yes, the music was great. What about so as soon as we know that we're going back to Ray's little hut and the T-Rex is there, I was like, Amaya versus T-Rex?
Yep, that was very telegraphed. It
was, but I'm all for it. I was expecting. I wanted to fight.
Yeah, I wanted to use the T-Rex strength.
I wanted him to go to chomp on her, and she's like, boom.
That would have been cool. I don't think they would have been able to pull it off.
I don't think they would have either. But it was a cool scene. Yes, it was a little easygoing, and I spoke to her as a mother or as a woman.
Yeah.
But I still liked it.
There's little moments like that where it's just like they just skip the crap. Like with Sarah, like you think usually they'd have this whole hoopla about, oh, how are we going to get her out of there? But she's like, no, Jax gets out, he walks over, grabs the paddles, shocks her, and she's out. Yep. So there's nice little things where it's just really simple, and they moved right along with it.
And it worked.
Yeah. I also liked, So the little conversation between Mick and Stein was good about being partners. And
although Stein needs to get a grip. How many times are we gonna have this conversation with you?
Yeah, this is like the fifth time.
But I wrote, I was like, wow, Mick with the harsh words, because it wasn't just the partner stuff. Like he brought up the fact that he's the oldest member of the crew. Like he's not gonna be around forever.
Yeah. And I was very like, oh. I always wonder how actors feel about material like that, where where they bring up they're old or they're overweight or something,
or that their time is limited.
Yes.
But yeah, I just really love Mick. I really do.
Yeah, he's.
When Rip comes back, I liked you better when you were killing people.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Amaya and Nate still not on board. Nate's the grandfather. Nate's the father of her baby. Duh. See that coming. That's my prediction.
Nate's the father of her baby?
Mm-hmm.
I hope not.
I know, but that's my prediction.
I really hope not.
But, so we talked about this off camera, that maybe Mon-El is still having trouble adjusting to the culture. Amaya sure seems to have grasped it real quick.
Yeah. And
but anyways, I put
that was one of my notes was I like that, but at the same time I don't like it. Because I think that there's some things that should stay around, which are good ideals to have.
But anyways, yeah, wanted to put that there. Ray is such a weirdo. His little dolls, he's like, I got lonely.
It's so weird.
But it landed so well.
Yeah. It wasn't like, that shouldn't have surprised me.
And then they explain why he's all yoo-hoo when he comes back, because he knows.
Yeah.
I was like, really, Ray, you can't not see them together.
Yeah,
and then he's the voice of reason. And when he's like, no, I'm not talking about dating within the team. I've done that.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, we don't have to touch on it long, but thank you for telling us that Sarah's bisexual, because they've never said that.
Yes, thank you.
And
well, they have, but
no, they've never said the word.
Yeah, they have. They have.
On Arrow?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Maybe on Arrow.
And even on, I want to say Legends too. There was a moment where they said bisexual.
All right.
But
I know they've talked about her being
very
bisexual.
Long time.
But it's just nice, and it wasn't over the top. It's just like, well, I know she's bisexual, but
show it to us sometime,
Well, they did. Did you not see her reaction to Gideon?
Well, no. Like, I mean, we always see her reaction to a girl, but
oh yeah. Well, she's
bi,
all about smart.
Then show us. Yeah.
They have also said that she leans more towards women.
That was also the thought that I had was she really does have a connection with Smart.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I want him back so bad.
He's coming. I just wrote Katie Lots. Yes, please. I don't know what that was for.
Okay, so one of the things that was my nitpick and ended up being positive was that when Ray walked away from the hut, I was like, please don't do it in his hut. Please don't do it in his hut. Please don't do it in his hut. And they didn't do it in his hut.
They were going to.
But thanks to that weirdly quick hunting.
The iguana
hunt. Yeah. So that saved us. But I also liked their conversation, him and Ray's conversation about, she has a future, she has a history, and she's going to have to go back to that eventually.
And it's true, she is the only one on the ship. So supposedly that would affect anything.
Yeah.
Nate's kind of a douche.
Why do you say that? I think I know, but why do you say that?
Because a relationship-y, blah, blah, blah. But he admits that he's starting to have feelings for her.
Yeah.
So if you are a smart person, you know that that's probably going both ways. And yet he's still like, I'll go sleep with her and break up with her tomorrow.
Yeah. They keep doing that with his character, and it's always with sex. It's just really weird.
Yep.
He's very douchey like that.
Yes.
But, so what I figured out is I like them together. But it's just the way that they keep portraying it. Mm-hmm. It's just really weird and contrived. Yes. Where they have to create these weird settings where something happens between them.
Because I like their dynamic very, very much whenever they have scenes together.
Like she has, that. And this running gag that she doesn't have faith in his abilities or something. Because when he opens the door, he's like, see, I told you I could do it.
Well, because she could probably have conjured up the strength of anything and done it as well. But, but yes, they are fun.
Oh, some good lines. You nearly ruined Star Wars. Sorry about that. That was great. You mentioned
all the lines when Rip was coming back were great.
Sarah talking about evil Mick. Gosh. Get out and tell Mick and Stein to do whatever. And she's like, well, evil Mick. Guess that's not different.
I guess it's not really different.
Yeah, it's not really different from regular Mick. So that was great.
Oh my gosh. They're the writing has been really great lately, but with dialogue writing and such, and keeping the running jokes that are good. But yeah, I wrote.
Oh, here's my other one. Difficult to put weight on as a film student.
Yes, that one had me giggling. I was like, yeah, true. As a student.
Yeah. What was yours?
I was just gonna say that I just wrote in all caps, "Rip is back," and Mick. That's how I ended. Because that's my feels, and I loved Gideon and Sarah's interactions, and I got distracted by Katie Lotz in a tank top in that scene. I almost missed the whole double captain comment because she looked gorgeous this episode in general. But anyways, and I liked seeing her back in her white canary outfit.
Yeah, we haven't
seen it in a long time.
That was on my first notes. Was what happened to their costumes?
Mm-hmm. Well, because they're always in.
And it was just weird though for like.
Period.
It was weird for Nate and Ray and Amaya to not being theirs, and they are wearing just some weird archaeologist type get up that I don't know.
Well, not Nate. Well, yeah, Nate. I wish he wouldn't have his stupid costume. Just let him steal up. Anyways.
I like his costume.
It's awful
for the most part.
But Ray had his suit on him. I thought if it was so in character for Ray to be in a Jurassic Park archaeology thing as he's going to the dinosaurs.
It was, but it was also like, wouldn't you want your stuff?
He's got his suit in his pocket. He always does.
I don't know, but I don't know if I've been wearing it. So I was just wondering, are they going through costume redesigns or something, or?
Well, I think it's budget because we haven't seen Firestorm in forever.
Yeah.
And Firestorm was very weird, but I think that was deliberate.
The way he looked?
The way his flying looked.
It looked really.
I feel like that was deliberate. I feel like it was supposed to be because of the dream sequence.
It just didn't. I don't know. It didn't look really good.
No, it didn't.
I was wondering if that was Deathstorm though, because there's an alternate version in the comic books where he's evil.
Oh.
That's called Deathstorm.
Well, because his fire looked different and everything, so maybe that was their nod to Deathstorm. Anything else big on this one? Is that right?
I can't wait for next week.
I didn't watch the preview yet, but
they're going. We're gonna see Apollo 13.
Oh, that's right, I did. Well, that we saw what's his name at the end.
Although I think there are times when the episode ends where I'd rather they didn't have that little thing added on because it really ended very well.
It did end really well, and I agree. I wish it would have just ended with the team. Yep. All right,
let's get to the Supergirl.
Go for it. Don't rain on my parade. That's one of the other reasons. Oh, I've already. This is one of those situations. This is one of those situations where, like, not friends or couples or something, like, you know a fight is coming or you know an argument is coming and you make it so much worse in your head because I'm like, this is gonna be bad because loved this episode. Everything.
Okay.
Go for it.
I thought it was better than last week.
Well, yeah.
Very much better. Still have my gripes with it, but there were some things that I really liked, like Snapper Carr and
so good.
Martian Manhunter. He was great.
Dick move. Understandably, but still
wasn't. Yeah.
The feels.
So yeah. I like the settings and everything. I like the animation, the CGI and everything. Like the ship looked amazing.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I'm trying to contain my excitement right now.
Oh, I
just want to jump to everything.
And I also liked the way that they talked about journalism. And
I loved every interaction with Snapper Carr. Kara and Supergirl's interactions. I loved that. So Cat Grant is amazing, and she was a little bit in awe in her interview with Supergirl. Not hugely, but when Supergirl sets down in her limo and she gets out, she kind of has this moment.
Yeah.
Snapper Carr is having none of it.
Yeah.
He's just like, an exclusive? Okay. Walks into Cat Grant's office, she comes in, on the record, all business. But when he turns off the machine and he's so... what is his name? Ian?
I don't know.
Well, anyways, he was phenomenal this episode.
Yeah, that's what I liked about his character was that they added more layers to him. Like he really wants Supergirl to succeed. He really wants to help her, but it's like I'm not going to.
And he wants Kara to succeed.
Yeah, he does want Kara to succeed. That was great too. But it's like he's not going to sacrifice his integrity and his career to do it. So.
And I love that. One, I love the whole scene when she walks into the office because at first you kind of think about, everyone knows she leaked it, so that's why they're kind of all giving her the cold shoulder. But no, Snapper Carr packed her stuff up. And they probably all watched him do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is Miss Cat, this is Miss Grant's, this is Cara, this is Miss Grant's girl. Like, and then Cara does a great job, or Melissa Benoist did a great job of showing that as she walked in. She was nervous about the retaliation, but then surprised and not surprised that she's getting fired.
Yeah.
But the writers did a great job of having to give us the exposition of him saying, it's not just because you went out of this, you broke your contract, you did a competing website. Like, they threw all of the real reasons why she should be fired in there.
I was afraid that Jimmy was going to come in and be like, nope, she stays, and then walks out. I'm glad that they didn't do that, and I'm glad that he didn't go back because there's one part where it's like, it sounded like he was just going to not fire her, but then he did anyways, so.
And the whole I was rooting for you didn't miss. I love the ponytail. Well, I just love everything about when he calls her ponytail. Oh,
I was like, that's random.
Yeah.
Ponytail.
Okay. But how he calls her ponytail, and it was great. And I thought Cara was perfectly in character, where she wanted it out there, she was struggling. One of my favorite things is when Supergirl in the DEO was telling him, I'll just get Snapper to run the article. And then they're like, really? You think you can do that? And she leaves, but she flips her cape with her.
I missed that.
It's so cute. And I feel like that's a very Melissa Benoist throw in there. But she does. When she turns, she just kind of flips her cape with her. And it's so... Just go rewatch it. You can't miss it. Okay. Just watch that scene, and it's right at the end when she walks away. And it's adorable.
All right, what did you love?
Everything. Alex kicking ass. Excuse me? Excuse me? Why is that an issue? Go for it.
Okay, my whole issue is just the whole her going by herself thing, and it's not necessarily that, but it's that Maggie didn't say anything to anyone. That bothered me because she's become a plot device to just enable Alex to do whatever she wants.
Okay. I hate how they're treating Maggie. I do agree with that.
The action and everything was all fine, except for when she didn't knock out Lily and Luther. Mm-hmm. That bothered me. But the action and everything was really cool.
Mm-hmm. The Maggie Alex part. So, on one hand, I wonder that as well. The kiss, though, I feel like that was a I might die kiss, and it wasn't over the top, and it was very, very well done. You gotta remember, Maggie's still a cop. And Alex is going rogue. And I feel like, one, they've probably had conversations that we don't get to see. That Alex is like, I gotta do this myself, but Maggie really does believe in her that she's gonna come back, that she's gonna be saved. So I was okay with that it wasn't so much of a plot device. I mean, it was obviously one, but not a huge issue. How about Brian? Is he not adorable?
Oh,
the alien?
The alien?
Someone on Tumblr put on there,
he's great.
Like, Brian's got a real problem. I really hope someone gets him some help with his gambling addiction. I was like, yes! But the whole, when they kiss and he's just like... It was cute that he says, I wish I had what you had, but the reason they yell at him is that he's got a little creepy factor going on. But I love the shot.
He was great.
I love that as they pull away, they're in a moment. And Floriana Lima does her face, she does great of being in love with someone.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'm in awe with actors and actresses is how do you really look like you are having feelings for a person that you don't. And but when they pull away and they're having that intense moment, you see Brian right between them with that smile. I loved it. It was adorable.
That was another one of my positives was the makeup and everything just looked amazing.
The opening scene with the family, the parents rocking out and the girl just like, ugh. And that was really well acted, when they're not horribly over the top, and you felt their fear.
It was perfect, yeah.
But Alex kicking ass. One, Kyler Lee does a phenomenal job, and I don't think that a lot of her stunts are her. The jump kick thing was awesome. In the DEO, when both the guys grab her and she launches herself and double kicks the one guy, it's phenomenal. That stuff I don't necessarily think is Kyler Lee. A lot of it, more of the martial arts side of it, I don't believe are her. However, this show does their stunts very, very well. Yeah, we've never once been like, oh, that's not her, or that was horrible, like with Malcolm Merlin in the one episode of Legends.
Yeah.
All of the fight scenes were phenomenal. Lyra, Maggie, and Alex kicking ass in the alien bar while the guys are just kind of floundering, and then Guardian saves. Yeah. The scene with Maggie and Alex when she's held captive, so well done. Maggie comes out and she's a cop, she's a detective, she's probably been in situations like this before, but the Floriana Lima's reaction, like her anxious steps towards her, like she was trigger happy. Yeah. But then Alex, because she's such a badass, is just, it's fine. Like she is calming Maggie down while she's being held hostage.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I have no qualms about the action.
All of the action scenes. Okay, so we're running out of time, and I've got, what do you got? Hit me with something else.
Let's talk about the whole Jean deception thing.
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't either.
That really surprised me.
Because like within the episode, I was like, this is a really weird place to put this. And it's like, how did he get in there
without Alex knowing? Yes. One little nitpicky thing. So he's dressed as Jeremiah the same way Jeremiah is dressed at Cadmus, and we haven't seen him dressed that way yet. That's one of those costuming things you probably should have picked up on. However, no, did not see it coming. Saw the previews, saw the stills, knew Jeremiah was going to be there. Yeah. Never once did it cross my mind that it's Jean, because it's a betrayal. It's an understandable one. It was a necessary one.
Yeah.
But it hurt me.
Yes.
And then Kara takes his side. Agreed.
Yes, I really like that. It was just one of those things where I don't feel like the character really needed to apologize entirely for all of what they did, because it was very understandable and it was necessary.
Agreed.
But yeah, it was just a little. I didn't like that he backed away. So that he backed away when she was like, that was cruel and that was evil or whatever. That was wrong. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm totally sorry for everything that I did. But it's like, no, hold your ground a little bit.
The apology was a little off. I agree that he didn't necessarily need to give a full apology.
Yeah.
Like, I apologize that it hurt you, maybe, but not that I did it.
Yeah. I also would have liked it if she wasn't entirely vindicated for going off on her own, because maybe he could have added a little bit of, you went off on your own and it all worked out, but
yes.
Yeah.
So again, I love fandom and how they can take one small insignificant comment or something and run with it.
Jeez.
Pam in HR is now going to be a running theme, and now every time something happens, I think about all the paperwork that Alex Danvers probably causes this poor woman in the HR department. And just shameless plug. I'm sorry if I butcher your names. Inspector Boxer and their partner, wife, girlfriend, I'm not sure in real life, Zenny Fick, do amazing fan fictions with these characters that are so in character.
Yeah.
Zenny Fick did one of Pam in HR, and it's hilarious. It's Alex coming back, and she's like, every time she sets down a paper, she's like, okay, unauthorized use of a DEO weapon outside of, what? I called dibs, that's my gun. Sexual harassment of an NCPD officer. Well, she's my girlfriend. We were off duty. And then Pam is just constantly laying all of these HR stuff down. It was hilarious.
It's gotta be a pretty nightmare. Yeah,
right? See what I mean?
It's gotta be a nightmare. Jesus.
So now every time you see one of them do something rogue, you're gonna think about poor Pam in HR. And it's adorable. One of my favorite scenes is when, and we're going to get into my favoriteest scene, but when Kara is trying to save Alex and the men are like floundering about no help whatsoever at the DEO. Mon-El is Captain Obvious. Why was he even there? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Well, we have to stop the ship. You think? Supergirl, keep moving. You think?
Yeah. There's a lot of like stuff with like Mon-El and Wynn and especially Jimmy, where it's just like
he was just there.
They're just there. Their interactions were really weird until the ending with Mon-El. But it's just like he comes in and just it's just this weird commentary that these characters are giving it.
Guardian just had to be at the bar so that he could get dressed. But
There's no way.
He doesn't have super speed. Where's his suit? How's he getting dressed so fast? But whatever. It's fine. I didn't even care that a man had to come and save them. It was because that's how well done this episode was. Lyra, love her. That actress, I want to know if her scream was CGI'd a little bit or automated, because her scream was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like it was, I feel like it was automated a little bit to make it more of an alien scream.
Probably, yeah.
But it was awesome. Okay, what else? What else happened? Jeremiah and Lillian. I loved Lillian in this episode.
I did not.
I know, you hate Brenda, you hate her. You hate Lillian.
I just don't think she's that good of an actor.
I thought she did great. And when I love Alex, when Lillian says there is no kill code, the only way to do this is to drop the stick, and she's all like smug, there's no way you'll do it. Alex Danvers just alright. And
at the moment I was like, that was a real dick move, because I thought everything was going to explode, including the ship.
Slowly.
Well, I thought the ship was going to go too, so I was like, oh wow, she's an evil bitch.
Well, she's very upset right now. However, in that scene, I really wish they would have given us Lillian's reaction. I love that they showed us Kyler Lee and dropping the stick, but I wanted to see Lillian be like, oh, F.
I thought they did.
No, they didn't. No. I've seen it a few times. It's fine. I actually had to rewatch this episode to be able to coherently put down stuff on paper. Because if not, it was just going to be... That's basically what it was the whole first time I watched. It's like...
What did you think about the Supergirl on the ship? Because I feel like...
Go.
I felt like it could have been better because there was too much... It just didn't... There was no tension because... The tension fell away from me because it just kept cutting to... Okay, she's going to try and stop the ship, but then it kept cutting to her putting her hand on the window and looking at Alex.
They did that once.
They did it 3 times. They did it 3 times. They did. And it was just like, okay, your 20 seconds is up now. But yeah, it was just... That cut away all the tension for me. And I thought it would have been a really amazing scene, but just there's too much of that.
Fantastic.
Sisters looking at
Fantastic.
sisters.
Danvers sisters,
okay.
Yes. Finally really showing us Supergirl's strength. Yeah, she lifted Fort Ross, but if someone would try to fight her while she's lifting Fort Ross, she wasn't going to be holding it up and fighting them. Like, that was a heavy ship. This really gave us an idea of how strong she is. And I actually figured you'd have an issue with how strong she is.
It's going to be inconsistent, though.
It is always inconsistent.
Because they had her, because when she first goes to the Fortress of Solitude in season 1, they have her lift up the key, and it's like, this weighs this much, and it's like, it weighs like 400 times more than the ship would.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever.
Agreed. They're consistent. But this is really, for us as an audience that don't know that about the key, this is a really great display of her strength. They said how heavy it was, but I was just like, meh. Seeing her stop a ship that, like, she held it long enough for the engines to burn out.
Yeah, it looked good.
It looked great. Danvers sisters. Yes, yes, yes. Melissa Benoist did a phenomenal job. You think not? Whatever.
She did a great job. It was just that the way that they cut the scream, or mixed the scream of her yelling, it looked and sounded like she was trying to use her scream to stop the ship.
Well, when you lift weights, have you never screamed to push through?
I have, but
that's what that was.
The way that they shot it, it looked like that, and it was like...
Look, I'm almost doing it right now. Had we been watching this episode together, during this scene, I would have been doing what I almost did and slapped your arm. Did you recognize the music?
I couldn't hear it.
First off, it's a nod to season 1, episode 1, when Kara saves Alex from the plane.
Oh, cool.
It's also a nod to Red Tornado. It's the same music.
Yeah. Oh, I can see
and
that.
I was freaking out. I had to go back and... I watch the Red Tornado scene all the time anyway.
I don't want to...
I went back...
To see that ugly...
You hate the android, but you gotta get past that because Melissa Benoist is phenomenal in that scene.
We've always agreed. I know. That's awesome.
But I went back immediately and was like, is that the song? And it's the same music. I told you I was gonna have to control my volume at this part. I warned you that I would be fangirling hardcore. And I have been all week long. I've watched this episode 3 times, and I'm going to continue to watch it. And I don't know, it's so exciting, and we need to talk about Kara and the Daxadouche. That's my new name for Mon-El. Only when he's being a Daxadouche. And this is...
He's being fine this episode.
He was, because he was minimal this episode.
He didn't need to be there.
Exactly. So can I throw you my theory now? Real quick?
What's up?
Everybody is very upset that Kara says maybe being Supergirl and having you is enough, because that kind of goes away from the whole feminism from the first season, and I do kind of see that. They have tried to set it up that she doesn't need no man, and then now she basically said having a man is good enough for me to have nothing else.
It's not how I see that, but...
It's to each his own. I didn't hate it. It's like hi guys. I told you I'm excited. My brain. All right. I think the direction they're going, So, spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think I've told you this before, that a character is supposed to die this season. And I believe they said main character. I don't think they said one that's been there from the beginning. And originally I thought it was going to be James, and it might still be. But my theory now is James or Mon-El are going to die.
If it's Mon-El, then I can easily see them using his lead poisoning, because they've only brought that up once.
Or fighting his parents. He sacrifices himself for Supergirl.
Because in the comic books, he gets lead poisoning, which is fatal to Daxamites, and they have to put him in the Phantom Zone to basically put him in stasis.
Right.
So I can see that happening.
So I think that the reason they are laying it on thick with Kara and Mon-El, despite how much the fans hate it, because the CW does listen to fans. Arrow and Laurel are part of that.
The amount of fans is like...
They shouldn't.
This much.
It's not, though. We've talked about how many news outlets are picking up on it as well.
It's a non-issue.
Agreed. Fine. It's not an issue. What I'm trying to say, though, is I think the reason they're doing it is to set us up for the betrayal and for losing Mon-El. How hard it's going to rock Kara.
I hope it's not him, because I think that'd be cheap, just to throw in a character just to kill him, just so you can save the rest of your characters.
But it makes sense on why he's got so much screen time, because he and Maggie are both the series regulars, and she seems to be like she's gonna be here longer.
Which I hope not. If they, like I said, the way that they've depicted her and used her,
I think they'll do better.
Is absolute garbage.
But anyway, so the Kara Mon-El, I think that's my theory, is that they are trying to push it on us that she is leaning so heavily on him that it hurts more when she loses him. I am nervous because I love Floriana Lima's portrayal of Maggie. I love this character that she's given me, and I love Alex and Maggie together. And I'm worried that she's a series regular, and I believe the actress has to relocate for screening or for filming. And if I was an actor, she's getting a steady paycheck, but it's like, dude, they are screwing her over. And I'm like, please start to give us more Maggie so that this actress doesn't want to say, no, I'm not re-signing my contract. Because it's happened before where they have to travel from LA to Vancouver, and they're a great storyline, and okay, Cat Grant. It's a great storyline, and now we have to change everything because of it. And we flounder a bit.
Who doesn't look like will be returning this season. They mentioned that in some...
Oh, yeah. Calista Flockhart is not coming back.
At least not this season. They said, if you're betting on it, don't bet more than $1.
I'm very sad.
So, like you said, either give more Maggie, or just axe her, because she's not even a character at this point.
Exactly. I think they are. Spoiler alert. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They are, during the musical episode, which is the next 2 episodes, it's going to be very Maggie and Alex centric, because they're the only ones in the national city still, and we're going to get a little bit more of Maggie's backstory. So I think that if they get rid of Mon-El, we will see a bit more Maggie next season. Which
is kind of weird, because never mind. That's a dumb point. Anyways, Kevin Sorbo, and
Terry Hatcher. I love that their first scene is I feel better.
Yeah.
Because if Kryptonians know that they can get these powers, how come none of them have ever come to take over the world?
Because they're all dead.
Well, now they're all dead, but then yet they keep popping up.
And it wasn't like a widely known... At least that's the way it's always been depicted. It was only Jor-El pretty much knew.
Okay. Because Kara's parents tell her.
Yeah, or else, they would have been like conquesting the universe.
I know, like, why wouldn't you do that? But anyways, so yes, I love... Well, obviously they're evil.
I cannot say how much I love Kevin Sorbo. I wanted to be Kevin Sorbo when I was a kid. Hercules, Andromeda.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there's that show.
I miss his Hercules hair, though.
Yeah,
it looks so much better.
The nice feathered lock.
Yes!
It still looks amazing, though.
Yes,
wow.
I'm excited. I'm not excited that we're going to obviously get more Mon-El storyline.
I am.
Anything else?
That's it.
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo.
I'm excited. Oh my gosh, this episode was phenomenal, and it felt like season 1, and I really hope it doesn't have to be this intense every single episode, but I really hope they keep up with how good this was. And I am all for badass Alex, that Kyler Lee just, for what I've seen her in and for what she is, I don't know her background, I don't know if she has training in martial arts and dance and all that stuff. She probably does, they all do.
She does seem to be a very physical...
She's phenomenal. Okay, real quick, I haven't made a Buffy reference in a long... I long time.
I'm not cutting this.
That's fine, well, you have to make it an hour, but the first one was 2.5 minutes. Anyways, Buffy reference. One, Alex with the pool stick is from Once More with Feeling, the musical episode, and I tried to find a gif of it and I couldn't find it, and I'm very upset. Two, thank you, Kyler Lee, for knowing how to run. We all know I'm a huge Buffy fan, Sarah Michelle Gellar fan. The girl can't run. It's awful. And there's been so many actors and actresses, and whether maybe they're thinking they have to run a certain way for camera, but when Kyler Lee takes off sprinting, phenomenal. They did a great job, and she looks athletic. So anyways, there we go. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you later. Have a happy post International Women's Day.
Oh, yeah.
That happened. And we'll see you later.
So good.